Jeremy, nice to see you. Glad to see you. Hope everything is well. So I decided to start a few minutes early. Well, actually, a few minutes late, a few minutes early. So the study room that I had requested, it didn't open up till 3 o'clock. Now there is a little bit of a buffer where I could get in early. And so I wasn't sure that that was going to happen. I managed to get in early, so I was able to get set up, get Sam taken care of, and all that other stuff. So because they have no real barriers and it's really kind of open with just like, walls in between, you are hearing somebody else, and I think they're a content creator as well. So I do apologize about that. This will be being fixed over the next couple of weeks because as the weather gets better, I have places that I can go to in town where I can sit back, I can have the live stream with you guys, and now my microphone should be arriving sometime today. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's going to improve the quality, because if you guys, I don't know about you guys, but I always hear the echo. And one thing about YouTube is it's about the quality of the sound, not the quality of the video. That's why I don't put as much effort into the editing part, but I put more effort into finding places where I can be quiet, where I can be static, and do what it is that I need to do, which is a live stream. Okay, so I see that people are starting to come in, and and so we're going to get on today's topic. I'm kind of hoping that you guys interact with me. This is, so Ironwood Workman made a comment, and like I always tell him, his comments are very thoughtful. And, he was talking about, how hard it is to live and why would anybody want to be homeless. Hey, what's going on, Joe? Why would anybody want to go be homeless and things like that? Like, where is the choice and where is the option on that? There's many different reasons. And so I figured I would talk about it because in my travels, I've met very few people that have taken advantage of these reasons, but there are people that use these reasons to choose to be homeless. One of the reasons was I knew a man, he'd gone through a divorce, and the only way he could pay his alimony and his child support was to live in a shelter. So he made the choice to be in a shelter, to be homeless, because he wanted to make sure that he paid his bills instead of going and getting a second job like what a lot of guys do when they're stuck in that situation. You also, you have people that have gone through the rat race in life, and they are just absolutely tired of, spinning their wheels and not really getting anywhere. And so therefore they back off and they say, I'm done. And they just go and they live a minimalist life, and they travel and they do things. Now, homelessness can be both a good thing, a bad thing, and something in between. Okay, a lot of it has to do with who you are, what your attitude is like, and whether or not you're embracing the fact that you're homeless. Once you embrace the fact that you're homeless, then you don't have to, you're not too worried about certain things as far as interactions or being offended or, things like that, okay? So there are reasons for people to make the choice to become homeless, to where this type of lifestyle could be attractive to some individuals. Now, is it attractive to every individual? No. Some people just look at it and go, okay, I want to see how you do it because I know if I get in that situation, I want to know how to do it. And so therefore they watch in observation for that just in case moment, plus they're also entertained. But you also have that segment of society that it says my rent's getting too high. I cannot, just like my grandfather. So my grandfather was smoking for years, and he's like, it used to be a dime a carton, and when it got to $1 a carton, I just stopped buying cigarettes. It just got too expensive. Well, rent will reach that way for some people. It's like, why am I spending everything I have on rent that keeps going up? I'm not getting any value. My neighbors are bugging me, and I'm basically having people live on top of me with no real open space, and yet my rent keeps going up, but I'm not getting any return in value. And so some people will sit there and say, at least I can live comfortably. And like in the places, let's say like the South, you can, go live in the woods. So in Pensacola, there was a gentleman who he worked so much, there was no need for him to be able to go and get an apartment because, all he really had time to do was sit at home, drink a beer, and then go to sleep, get up the next morning, go do the same thing, because he was working in granite. Okay, and it's a very hard life. And so he just set up a tent, and he had a group of people that would keep an eye on his stuff. He went to work, did his granite work, came home, sat in front of the fire, drank his beer, went in his tent, went to bed, saved himself, $1,000 plus. Okay, because he was able to, because I was able to, or he's able to, be okay with that. But the thing is all he's doing is sleeping. Look at me. All I do, I wake up in the morning, I feed Sam, I pack up camp, I go to the bathroom, I grab a cup of coffee, I may go to breakfast, and then I go get a bag lunch. I take Sam to the dog park. We go to the library for the rest of the day while I work on my YouTube stuff. And then towards the end of the day, about 4 o'clock, I wind down. I might take her to the dog park or down to the river for the day. And then, we wind down and camp by about 6 o'clock at the latest. And then, and then we go to sleep, and we wake up the next morning and do the same thing over and over again. I don't really have time to know that I am homeless, because if I'm not taking care of Sam, if I'm not just going and getting my basics, I am working on my YouTube stuff. And so therefore, why would I want to pay rent in a place and pay, $1,500 a month, let's say, plus water, sewer, garbage, electricity, subscriptions, cable, all these different things that you have to pay for. So you're looking at like $2,500 a month, just to go live in a place where you're so busy you don't even get a chance to enjoy it. I would rather take that $2,500 and put it towards having fun on my off time, things that I enjoy. So maybe taking a trip, or going exploring another part of whatever. Okay, so there are different reasons why you could do that. Okay, now this lifestyle is attractive to some, but not to most. Okay, so it's not something that everybody's going to be interested in, but it is something, just like van life. Why do people go and do van life? Because rent's getting so high. They're getting $900 a month in Social Security. They can pay a car note, have a decent car, and travel around with other van lifers, and have a good old time with community, and just being able to travel. And then they also have ways to where they can make a little bit of side money on top of that, because they travel around to different spots where they where there are places that actually hire these nomads seasonally. They look forward to them. It's part of their workforce already. And so 50, 60 nomads show up. They're working, living in their van, and they get a good paycheck, and they work for a couple of months, and then they move on to the next spot. Okay, some people might enjoy that because it gives them the freedom to travel. They get to work and travel. They get to not worry about the evictions and throwing good money after bad and things like that. So, but you might say, hey, well, that car is devalued. The car is devalued when you use it just for transportation, but when you use it for living, how much money are you spending on rent? How much that amount of money that you're saving is value that car has. So in a year, let's just say you're spending $1,000 a month on rent. In a year, that car added $12,000 worth of value to your life. Minus the gas and the maintenance and the oil changes and stuff like that. Okay, but at the end of the day, it still becomes a profit vehicle. So you have it for 3, 4 years, 5 years, living in it. Therefore, it becomes a positive asset. But if you're looking at a car as just as a vehicle, and you want to do the cost benefit analysis as if it were a vehicle, and to say that it loses all that value, that's if you're just using it to hop in your car, go down to the grocery store, go to work, go see a friend, go to a movie, go out for the night, whatever. It's just a mode of transportation, so therefore it loses value because it's a luxury item. But once you turn it into a house, it becomes a necessary item. Okay, and so that's money that you would have been forced to spend other ways that is now saved because you're now in that van. Okay, so this is a lot of reasoning why people choose the van life. This is why the van life is attractive to them, because on one hand, they're low income and they want to be able to live comfortably while still living within their means, because unlike the government, you and I, we have to live within our means. Okay, and so in the same sense that there are certain things that make the van life lifestyle attractive, the homeless lifestyle can and is attractive to some people. I've even heard it in the comments, like, I'd love to be free like you. Just because you're homeless doesn't mean you live in the streets. What it means is that you no longer pay rent. You could walk trails, you could bike trails, you could go tour the country in one form or fashion on Greyhound. You could go you could go many various ways and still be making the money that you're making and traveling and enjoying yourself and being able to see the things that you want. And if you keep yourself occupied and you're out there doing it as by choice versus by circumstance, because when you're doing it by circumstance, it is something that is very by circumstance, it makes it, what's the word I'm looking for? It makes it depressing because you feel defeated because you did not make the choice to be out there. You lost your job, you got sick, you got injured, the economy fell apart, whatever it is, rent went up. You know, your choice was taken away from you. Okay, so therefore, to you, it's a negative experience because you've been working so hard and you've done everything in your life to be able to keep that roof over your head. But when you turn around and you turn that into choice, it changes your overall experience because now your experience is positive because you took a positive attitude to it, because you made a choice to be able to go and say, okay, I want to travel, I want to sort my oats, I want to kind of check out different parts of the country and figure out where I'm going to fit in and where the next place I'm going to set roots is until the next time I decide to travel or things fall apart or whatever it may be. Okay, and so therefore I have traveled up and down the Midwest and the East and just kind of gotten to see it. And that's why I chose to come back to Cincinnati, okay, is because Cincinnati was one of my favorite places to be that had, you know, opportunity and had the things that I was looking for. So if you're going to be nomadic and you're going to be looking for a new region to move to, especially if you've got civil unrest, you've got civil war, you've got kinetic warfare going on, you've got NBC attacks, whatever the situation may be, you may have to migrate and your car may or may not be viable. And how do you survive when you're not in that car? And that's, again, what makes the homeless lifestyle appealing, because those that sit back and watch it go, okay, this is what I do if I ever get in that situation, those are the other people that get to benefit off of understanding this lifestyle. Other than the people that just look at it and go, it's inhumane that we live in a modern society in the richest nation in the world, and yet we still have homelessness. This is something that does not need to exist. But in some ways, I think homelessness does need to exist, but it needs to exist in a different form. It needs to be something that's looked at more by choice. You know, people go hike trails and do it for years on end, and that's considered a good choice. Okay, people go and bike tour and ride all around the world because they got nothing. They just kind of lost it, and this is their one thing to do, and that's attractive. People decide to go do van life. That's attractive. Well, you know, if you don't have the money for those things, but yet you still want to be able to go and do things in life, this is your next viable option. Okay, and so again, when you do it by choice, you go into a city. If you're doing it to travel, you go into a city and you go look at all the different cool things there is and get to know the city inside out, and then move on to the next city. Okay, so. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the questions because I've been on this rant for about 15 minutes or so, about 10 minutes. And you know, I wanted to talk about this subject because it was talked about in the comments by Ironwood, and I truly enjoyed it. And I thought that would be part of the topic of tonight. So if you guys have questions surrounding that, or ideas or suggestions of, you know, why you would want to be homeless by choice, or here's a question for you: what would make you homeless by choice? If you in the comments in the chat, you know, just type it out, something real short of what would bring you to make the choice to be homeless versus doing it by circumstance, okay? What is it that would be attractive about the lifestyle to you that would make you want to go live this lifestyle versus versus the way that you're living right now? Like, what opportunities do you see, or could you see, or would have to be there to entice you to do it? Whether it be, like universal basic income, if I had that, then I'd go travel, something like that, okay? So, said hi to Jeremy, said hi to Joe. Okay, I was cleaning out mom's drawers today, and got a full bag of papers, pens. Oh man, that sucks. So, oh no, so you're, okay. How's your body recovering after the accident, Joe? My moving help is taking a day off tomorrow. Well, are you paying them in cheese sticks, or are you paying them in cash? If you're paying them in cheese sticks, there's not much you can say. So, okay, I'm homeless. Okay, you're going to be homeless by choice. Okay, Hydro. Why are you homeless by choice? What is it that made you choose to be homeless? I like the freedom to go where I want and to do what I want. Okay. Okay, so you get the, let me share some experiences with you then, just to kind of touch on that. So the freedom, the ability to get these majestic views. So being on trail, you guys have heard me talk about how I hate the obstacle course part of it. So you get up to the top of the stairway to heaven on the Pinhoti Trail, and you get to walk 50 feet along the ridge line before you go right back down the way you just came. And, you're just jumping up and down, but you stop for a moment and you just look out and you look at this view, and you're at the highest point to be able to look down on all the different rolling hills of the, which is the beginning of the Appalachian Mountains, the southern tip, the southern portion of the Appalachian Mountains. And it's just, you get those majestic moments. One of my other favorite moments on the Pinhoti was like my second day, maybe my third day. I was trying to get to the hostel there, and the night before, I almost made it to the bottom of so you took the ridge line for probably about 10 miles and then you went down. And so I went down, I stopped at the top of the ridge line and I said, okay, I'll just, go down in the morning. I'll pick up some speed and I'll go and I'll stay at the hostel tomorrow instead of tonight, because I was trying to get there for that night, because the couple was going out of town on vacation. Well, if I wish I would have not been in such a rush. But I did take video of it. I did take pictures of it. I did take probably a good 20, 30 minutes to sit back and play around and swash around in this majestic waterfall. If I would have walked about another 30 minutes to an hour down the trail, I would have had the waterfall and I would have been able to sleep next to a waterfall that night. Well, because I was so bummed out that I missed that, multiple times along the way, I would sleep next to streams. I would sleep next to waterfalls. I would stop and camp for the day just to be able to experience the waterfalls. And Alabama has the most waterfalls out of every state in the lower 48. And so, just to be able to experience that along the way. I mean, if you're looking for freedom to be able to enjoy that, that's trail life, and trail life is fun. But most of those people that you see doing videos go do it for a few months and then they go home. They either go back to work or they just sit back and relax. They don't spend their whole life on trail. I think even Homemade Wanderlust goes home for a while. That's how she got married, and I think she's pregnant and all of that. So you have you have those moments. I mean, just being in San Francisco, being able to make some of the coolest friends that I'd ever made in my whole entire life, before or since. And it's a group that I still think about today. The only close group that I ever met next to that was probably in, where was it? It was in Portland. The kids that actually gave me the name Friar Tuck. So anyways, being able to have those experiences, now that's a reason to come out and do this. And so Jeremy says losing his family. So yeah, losing your family would be a reason to do it, because it would be kind of like that whole Forrest Gump thing where he ran across the country after what's her name died? Jenny, after Jenny dies. Okay, so yeah, I could see doing something like that, but that would put you as homeless by choice. You would no longer see the value in the overall objects. There are people that do end up out here not because they're losing their family, like kind of what I think you're talking about, but they became caretakers of their family, and then after their family members died because they had no other skills, nothing else to offer, and they've been, basically sucking off the tit of their family member their whole life, they become homeless. And I would say at least 3 to 5% of the population out here have done something like that. So they are paying me for my stuff. Okay. Oh wow, they're paying you for your stuff. Well, that's good. I had to put it out a couple of times. Okay. Well, hopefully she liked it, Joe. So I walked trails for 4 years. Yes, trails are fun. Trails are they can be fun. And it's a different lifestyle. And I'm thinking about that with Sam. It's like in the city and stuff like that. We're in a concrete jungle. I'm always working. I don't really have a whole bunch of time for stuff like that. Whereas when we first started out, we got to spend a lot of time in the woods. Her and I got to spend a lot of time together, and things like that. So I mean, it's definitely a slower pace. It makes you appreciate life and appreciate the short things, the things that take forever. It gives you patience, gives you a whole nother view on life. So West Virginia down to Florida. Oh, nice. So you did part of the ECT. Okay, hitting trails with no real direction since. Yeah, I know a guy that like that. His name's Prophet. He's a decent dude. You might not want to hang around him for too long, but he's definitely a decent dude. So that's why I'm homeless, but I was a long-term caregiver. Okay, yeah. Okay. Have you heard of people living in storage facilities? Actually, the girl that I met last night or over the last couple of days that was a van lifer that her car broke down and she couldn't get it fixed. She was actually living in a storage facility, and she said, I asked her about it, and she was telling me that, what was it? She was telling me that she was staying in the shelter, in the storage unit. She'd go in there late at night and leave early in the morning. But the night shift person had it out for her, came and started knocking on her door thing, the sliding door to get into her thing, and then she just lifts it up and walks right in. And finds her in there and kicks her out. But if she hadn't have found her in there, that would have been breaking an entry. But because she found her in there, there's something along the lines of probable cause. And considering, she's kind of doing night security and she's responsible for the security of stuff. And if people are in there, they can break locks, there is a security concern, a legitimate security concern. But, people do it, but they generally get caught. It's not something you can do long term. You may face legal consequences, especially if you're dealing with a night watchman that's kind of a jerk. But from what I understand, it's not really, it's not something that you can do long term. You can do it, you might get away with it for a month or two, but that's about as long as you'll get. And so, I mean, because the thing is they're going to be watching you. As she was telling me, the lady was watching the camera, saw it went in, but didn't go out, was trying to figure out what was going on, so on and so forth. And so this lady just had wood for her. So, okay, let's see here. Some are unmonitored. Okay, where's your dog when she sleeps right next to me. So, because all I do is, basically I'm sitting on a computer. I'm sitting down in the computer lab. I'm doing SEO. I'm going back through and redoing a lot of my videos. I'm writing content for a website. I am, tweaking a lot of the different videos and the different ways that I do it. Plus, then I got to come up here into one of these rooms or go find a place that's quiet that I can sit and set up my tripod and I sit back and do a video, and then I take it to the computer and I can now transfer it from my phone to Google Drive down onto the computer so that I can edit it right there on the desktop, edit the video, if you guys notice, I started putting the intro and outro in there. And that is part of the editing process because I'm using the desktop app. It's an app, it's not software. And so, yeah, that's kind of my day. And I spend the morning from probably about 10 o'clock till about 1 or 2 o'clock on the computer, and then I spend from about 1 or 2 o'clock to about 4 o'clock here in one of these rooms, either doing more research for topics, or I am recording a video, or I'm waiting for it to get quiet enough so I can record a video, things like that. So that's generally what our day consists of, and we pretty much spend a good 6 to 8 hours a day in the library itself. I mean, we've got an alleyway where we go, get a break, get away from people, kind of like sit there and take a deep breath, and Sam just kind of chills there for a minute, and I have my cigarette. And then we come back in, and so it's usually when I'm transitioning from the computer to the study room and stuff like that. I'm trying to get them to a point where they do these sound booths, because they have a couple of sound booths here. But I would really like it if they would put reservations on it, because then I can reserve it in advance for some of this content, and then I can have the pristine environment that I need to be able to record the content, have the best sound quality, and put out the best product, so that it can kind of speed up my overall process of getting off the streets and growing this channel in the way in which I'm doing. So that's really that's a good portion of what our day is. So we do that Monday through Saturday. On Sundays, that is her day. We go to the dog park a couple of times. I take her to another park over in Kentucky. I take her to see friends. I take her to play with other animals. So all of Sunday, that's all her day. And so she spends the whole day playing and getting her energy out for the week. And that's kind of a routine I'm trying to get her in, but she doesn't quite understand it yet. She loves the Sunday, but she doesn't understand that she gets Sunday because of all the time that I've got to use to be productive. So she's not understanding that, and I think it's taking a toll on both of us in our relationship, because I've got to have her being a service dog all day long, and so she doesn't really get that time except for early in the morning, because we wake up in the morning and have my cup of coffee and off to the dog park for at least an hour or two, so she can run around, play with other dogs, because they come in the mornings and there's just like this big, she loves the dog park because she gets to go play with all these other dogs. And I let her do that this morning because we were waiting for the library to open. Okay, so all right, let's see here. Okay, hey, what's up, Outdoors? Okay, so have you heard of people? Storage. Where's your? I'm talking actually renting a unit out. You're going to rent out a storage unit? If you rent out a storage unit, van lifers do it. People that are static do it. People that are on Social Security have some sort of income. But if you don't pay your bill within 60 days, you lose it all to an auction. So and once you're behind, they put another padlock on it until you fix it. Paul actually lost a lot of stuff through that. So you better make sure that you have a stable enough income to be able to cover it in the event that everything goes sideways for you. So, okay. Hey, All-American Prepper, nice to see you. Do I have a website? Yeah, it's called hobotuck.com, hobotuck.com. Okay, so, what's up? Hope your day is going well. Dekine, day's going good. Okay, so I had something weird happen, and maybe you guys can kind of help me understand this. Okay, so this yesterday morning I woke up. Sam was on the other side of me. She was sitting. It gave me the hunch. It's like, okay, somebody's messing with my dog while I'm sleeping. Okay, I think somebody's doing it. I can't prove it, because from about 2 to 6 o'clock in the morning, that's when I hit my deep sleep, because that's when the whole world just shuts down. Okay, and I'm not gonna wake up. It takes an act of God. I mean, Sam has to, the only way that she would wake me up is if she drug my bag, because all of a sudden my head would go from here to here, and it's like, okay, I'm awake. Okay, that's my alarm clock. That's my tripwire for when I get in those situations. But we're in a little compact spot. So I think that there's somebody that's coming up and messing with her after 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who it is. I don't know what's going on, something like that. So this morning, we wake up and she's coming up and she's nuzzling me and she's cuddling me and I'm loving on her and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, time to get up and get going. So I come out of my bag and I go to pet her and she starts biting at me and like almost like she's scared. Almost like I was attacking her, but I was trying to pet her. And I don't know what's happening. And so this morning when I woke up though, again, she was in the corner up by my head, laying on the bag, kind of like trying to be compact. Now she did get sick this morning and she threw up on her sleeping bag and maybe she thought she was gonna be in trouble for that. But she wasn't gonna be in trouble because I've gotten used to the fact that she eats so much crap off the ground. You do not know how much food people throw on the ground or how much food is on the ground until you have a dog that can find a chicken bone in a bush. Okay, it is crazy. It sucks. It is what it is. Okay, so she probably ate something and it upset her stomach. But the thing is also the bones that Jeremy sent her. She normally eats the whole one and she only ate half of it and then she barely would touch it the rest of the night. And she was bored and so she bit in on it. So I figured, okay, maybe the bone got into something like that. But then I tried to give her a fresh bone and she wouldn't touch it. She sniffed it, she licked around it, stuff like that. Now, I have had issues, and this is why I say I've gotten used to her getting sick, and so I don't get mad at her. Like the first couple times, I was a little mad because I didn't understand why I was being woke up and why she was like, frantic and going nuts because she just threw up and right in her bed. I mean, it's like, I'm coming to going, what the hell? Because you wake me up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm up ready to fight at this stage, and so. I did get loud with her and I got mad. I did not hit her. I did not get aggressive with her, but I did get mad and I was upset because I knew the reason why she did that was because she wouldn't stop eating crap off the ground. And it's like, I keep pulling her, but I can't pay attention to her 100% of the time. I thought I finally broke her of it. And over the last couple days, she's been eating a lot of crap off the ground. So I don't know if it's crap off the ground, if it's the bone, if somebody's messing with her, if it has something to do with me and maybe a sudden movement or something like that, or if she's really sick, to where this might be a reaction because she's sick or because she has something wrong with her health-wise. I don't know these things, but. Honestly, I've been like bummed out all day because of this, because I really like Sam. I really care about her. I go through, even though she's a pain in the ass, she barely listens. I work really hard on training her. Some things she does really well, other things she just won't do, can't do, isn't gonna do, and that's where her and I butt heads. But past that, we have a good relationship. I give her attention. We go to the dog park. I feed her what I eat. So she eats a lot. She gets attention. She gets to meet other people. She gets all that stuff. So I don't understand why there would be an issue with me. Yes, I do have expectations of her, and I do expect her to meet those, because without her meeting those expectations, there are severe consequences that directly affect me and my ability to survive. And so on those instances and in those moments, I have a zero tolerance policy with her. But outside of those moments, I let her do what she does, and I just kind of slowly coax her along. But, I still got to eat. I got to use the bathroom. I got to get a shower. I have to have access to resources. And so therefore, I need her to behave when we're getting access to those resources. So, and it's really sad. It really bummed me out. It kind of, sucked for the day. But it is what it is. So let's go see... Okay, I'm saying rent a unit and live in it. No, like I said, you get caught within a month or two. So you really would. So hey Phoebe, nice to see you. Can you live in a office rental space if you don't get caught, and be careful? Well, that's the key thing. No name is don't get caught and be careful. Now, can you sleep in your office? Yes, people do it. There are certain ordinances that prevent you from doing it, so you can face certain fines. But could you do something like that, rent an office space? Yes. And you know what? There might be a lot of people that do that just to be able to have a roof and still save money, because office space is about to become real cheap. And if people can start doing the office space and living in it, and just everybody keeping their mouth shut, turning the blind eye, because it keeps these buildings from being completely abandoned, and at least allows them to make some sort of money. So I think that there may be changes, but and that may be a cause and effect that happens. But I think you would be better off renting an office space for $600 a month for a small little office, on a service road or something like that, than you would trying to do 100 to 150, 200 bucks for a storage, a rental, a storage unit. Okay, because there's always going to be somebody that has a hard-on to come after you, or you may not notice it, but there might be a time when you're trying to get in, you don't notice that somebody sees you. People like to complain because of 9/11 and see something, say something. And people are more apt to rat on their neighbors, even when they're not doing something that's really worth making mention of, but just because. Okay, so there's a lot more risk involved in doing it in a storage unit than an office space, and more people, it's more socially acceptable to do it in an office space than it is to do it in a storage unit. Okay. Possibly another animal creeping around you too. I don't know. Rats, raccoon. No, because I haven't had any holes in her food. When we sleep under the rail bridge, there's rats there. But as far as everything else goes, no. I haven't. I don't know. I know that there's. I sleep deep. I wake up to see the aftermath. I don't know what's going on. He's good with Sam. Sam gets a lot more exercise and attention and does have owners working 10 hours a day. So, yeah, no, John, I don't beat my animal. Why would I do that? I've talked about what animal abuse is. Now, Sam is a service dog, and as a service dog, she has certain expectations, societal expectations. And depending upon where we travel to, sometimes those bars are set to an unrealistic expectation, and we have to jump over those and through those in order to be able to get the basic things that we need. And some places are very kind to animals, like Cincinnati is kind to animals. And so here, there's not. I can be a little bit more tolerant, a little bit more relaxed with Sam. But when we were in like Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, any of the southern states, we got kicked out of places more often than not, just because the people there, they saw the dog, they didn't like it, and they were looking for reasons to get us out. And considering I was there was a lot of struggles. I lost about 3 belt loops in that whole process down south. 3 notches on my belt, just in all the weight that I lost because of not being able to eat, because of places wouldn't allow us in. Even the shelters, even the food lines, they would not let us in, did not care that she was a service animal. Okay, so a lot of people, they think they see a moment in time and they think that they know what's going on with the animal, but in reality, this morning when she did what she did, I took her vest off her, I took the leash off of her, I took the collar off her, and I said, if you don't want to be here, don't be here. If I was being mean and cruel and harmful to my animal would have taken the first opportunity to dart. She is not shy about things like that. So the fact that she still stayed there, she understood that she misstepped, and as far as doing what she did, okay, but. As far as my animal goes, I take good care of my animal. I take better care of my animal than most people take care of their kids, okay? And it's sad, but also she's in my care, and I'm not gonna I'm not going to mistreat my animal. And that really bugs me that so many people, like the other day, we were in Daily Bread and Sam is attacking my backpack. And so I put the backpack in and I reach down, I grab her and I hold on to her and I sit her down and I'm telling her to hold on, calm down, that she needs to chill out. Well, I got this guy over here going, you hit that dog. I was like, all I did was grab Sam, one hand on her rear, one hand on her collar, and just kind of holding her in place. Okay, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, these dog lovers that will never discipline their dog looks at that and goes, oh, that's mean, whatever. But they forget that, as an animal, whether it's a service dog or whatever it is, there is things that you can do and things that you can't do. Just like your child, you have ways that you have to discipline them and ways that you cannot discipline them. If you punch your child with a closed fist, that's child abuse. Okay? If you punch your dog with a closed fist, it's animal abuse. But if your kid's sitting there flailing and you stand them up and put them on their feet, now is that abusing your child? No, but there are people out there that have zero discipline in the home, or who their children hate them so much because of how they were crappy parents to begin with, and now they feel that they have the right to interject and tell you how to be able to do whatever it is that you do in life. And that is the biggest frustration that we face out here. Now, I got to say thank you very much, Jeremy, for the service dog vest. That is starting to reduce my overall stress. I don't have people grabbing at her as much. I still do have people sometimes, but it's reduced it by about 80-90%. I don't have people calling at Sam. Actually, more people are ignoring Sam, which is making life so much easier for me, instead of as soon as they see Sam, oh, doggy, 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 and then they get all riled up, and then I got to deal with it. We got kicked off of the train the other day because another dog barked at Sam, and Sam decided to bark back, and so both of us ended up getting kicked off the train, when we were trying to go down to the library from breakfast. So, it's people want to complain that your dog isn't disciplined, but then when you discipline your dog, then they want to complain about how you do it, because the thing is I don't understand people's disconnect. And I see it at the dog park a lot. And that's something that really, really bugs me about people that are dog owners that really have no accountability for their animal. In a lot of ways, what a lot of these houses do to their animals and not disciplining them and not giving them a purpose and not giving them things, it's the same as declawing a cat. Okay, once you take a cat's claws away, you take their ability to defend them away. And in order to be able to qualify for a cat to be able to be declawed, I know this because my mom picked up one from the rescue shelter, and it was because it was so aggressive that it was harming people, and this was the only way to allow the animal to live and be able to get it adopted out. So that's why the cat loved my mom, because the cat was very codependent. The cat was abused by its previous owner. Okay, well, when you don't give your dog purpose, when you don't give them when you don't give them things to do and give them order and structure and discipline, what you're doing is, like I said, you're declawing your dog. Okay, you're taking their ability to function and to be a part of society. Because what happens, when my mom passed away, she had 2 cats. Okay, if I wasn't there to take those cats would be feral. Okay, but I took them in because they were my mom's cats, and I was the only one that was there, and so therefore I took her cats in. And my little sister couldn't take the cats just because of where she was living. Okay, I was able to take the cats because at that time I had my 2 houses. Okay, and when something happens to you, you've got to give your animal the best opportunity to assimilate, and by taking away its discipline, because everybody has different standards when it comes to animals. Okay, and some people are like me that believe that an animal needs to be well disciplined and needs to be able to follow instructions. Okay, and you have other people that just like, it's a free creature of nature, I'm just here to observe and assist. Okay, and so you need to be able to prepare your animal in the event that something does happen to you, to be able to go stay with somebody that is within that spectrum. Okay, and so when you're thinking about an animal, if you're not disciplining it, if you're not giving it purpose, if you're not giving it structure, then you're setting your animal up for failure. Because again, if I hadn't have been there, my mom's cats would have been feral. Now, one of them would have survived. Okay, the other one wouldn't have, because she was declawed. Okay, and she would have been, you know, out there and not able to defend herself. And she was a mean cat. Okay, and so Buddy, because he liked being outside, he was able to do that. But most animals, if something happened to their owner and nobody wanted to take that animal in, and with the rising cost of things, and you know, people are having to choose between one or the other. I mean, that's why you're starting to see so many animals come up stray or feral, is especially during an economic downturn, is because people are having to choose, and they're choosing themselves over their animal, which there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is if you're going to choose yourself over your animal, you need to make sure that in the event that you got to let that animal go and there's no one to take it, that it can actually survive out in the wild. And that is what is, you know, being harmful to dogs as a whole. And I think that it is doing more harm to these dogs, which means that should the food supply run out, these dogs are going to turn on us, because they know that they're stronger, because they know we're afraid of them biting and things like that, to where it now creates an opportunity where the animals will turn on their owners because they're hungry, versus, you know, having the wherewithal to go out in the woods and forage for themselves. Okay, Sam knows how to forage for herself a little bit, but that's because of the way that we travel. But she also, you know, has certain commands and certain things that I make sure that if something were to happen to me, whoever took her over knows that she can operate and assimilate into their group, much easier, because the dog is trainable. The dog wants to assimilate, okay? Because it's part of inclusion in the pack. You know, again, accountability for your animal. But this is my personal opinion when it comes to when it comes to animals, and I've always held this opinion when it comes to animals, because I like animals. I think that we as humans, we're doing a lot of destruction to the animal kingdom, especially when we domesticate animals. Because again, if something goes wrong, they have no way of survival. But I think that, you know, animals are creatures of nature, and they deserve the right to live. I mean, they're here for a purpose in nature, not the purposes we think they are. Okay. So, okay, the animal shelter, okay, let's see here. Wow, you guys really lit this, okay. Hey, are you down with modern monetary theory? Okay, okay, so let's see. Hi, are you down? Okay, I know dog owners that are in a cage 10 hours while the owners are at work, and again in the cage while they sleep. They need to, because they are undisciplined. Yeah, I mean, and how fair is that to the dog? Okay, if it's going to be able to get the reward of being able to be out and be trusted, because in the same way you have to earn your animal's trust, your animal has to earn your trust. And their trust is to know that they're not going to destroy the house in the middle of the night, or go pee in your living room, or tear up your couch or whatever when you're not there. So if you haven't built a trust bond with your animal, which again, that's what happens when you train an animal, is you're building trust, because they're trusting that you're telling them the right thing to do, and you're trusting that they're going to follow through with something like that. Okay, non sequitur, but I got a 99-cent large. Oh yeah, oh, I love the Arizona sweet teas. Those are my favorite. Then crashed at McDonald's at Points and got a quarter-pounder fries for $3. Oh, nice. You know, also, are you down? Burger King has $3 Whopper Wednesdays. Okay, so if you have a Burger King around, Whopper Wednesday is really, really good. And another thing, so I talked about the apps earlier, and I might as well talk about it now. So the apps that, where I've talked about, like fast food apps and stuff like that, kind of how you live. So you want to be able to get points, right? And so you get the points, and then you trade it for food. So you're buying, and then you get free stuff. Okay, it's just like any other rewards program. Well, Burger King and and Checkers happen to be the two best apps as of a couple months ago. Okay, when I did the video and I talked about it. And Burger King, I could go get 2 sausage biscuits, hash brown, and a small coffee for $6. Okay, that was like a $10 meal that I get for $6, and it was really filling, and I could share a lot of it with Sam. Okay, they also had like the $5 duos and stuff like that, and they also have on the Burger King app, they have these little drives where, hey, if you go spend $5 twice in the next 30 days, we'll give you an extra 250 points, which next thing you know, you've got like 400 points and you're like, woohoo, okay? So Burger King, as far as rewards, as far as apps go, as far as, if you're going to have to, fast food it, like I had to do in certain parts of the country just because of access to food, Burger King app was good. And then Checkers, you could go get like you'd always get $2-3 off a meal. Okay, and that is really good. It was always consistent, but it comes in a text message. Now, since then, because Wendy's is doing this whole thing where they change the pricing depending upon supply, demand, and the day, Wendy's now has a really killer app, and they have really, really good deals the last time I went to a Wendy's. So when I spent $3, so they have a breakfast, two sandwiches or whatever. There's 3 items that you can choose from. You get 2 of them for $3. And so on the app, if I spent $3, I could also get a free coffee. So for $3, I got a breakfast. Okay, I got 2 sausage biscuits and a small cup of coffee. That was good. Okay. Wendy's is now starting to offer more compelling deals that will actually bring you in there. So if you guys watch Demolition Man, if you guys remember the movie, it has Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes in it. They talked about, what's her name? Sandra Bullock was also in it, and she was telling the story about the fast food wars, and after they had a civil war, they had fast food wars, and Taco Bell won. Okay. I don't know, probably because Taco Bell probably won because you kept having to go back to eat to refill. Anyways, I think we're going through something like that because of how the economy is falling apart, how we're dealing with economic collapse, how we're dealing with all these different things. I see that the fast food chains, in order to remain viable, are going to have to have a race to the bottom, and they're going to have a fast food war. Okay, and so what does that mean for guys like me, guys like you that want to save money, that want to do stuff like that? It allows you an opportunity to take advantage of good deals, to be able to get a large amount of food for a little price, because they're trying to get you to come back. And the thing is you keep coming back, and part of the reason why Burger King became my preference is because their app always had the best deals. So even when I couldn't find a good deal on their app, I would always look like at McDonald's just to see, and be like, it's not worth the hassle, and I'd always go to Burger King. Okay, and so that is the just like how they advertise to you, it takes like I don't know, like 20 some odd times before you even notice an ad. The same thing when it comes to these apps. For you to use these apps, you have to use them a lot, have to be getting great deals. So that means that they have to be offering you better deals than the other places, because now they're trying to get you to become a loyal customer because of the deals that they put in their app. And again, that's going to benefit guys like you and me. Okay. So, but anyways, I thought I would share that about the apps. Don't forget to like and subscribe, correct? And don't forget to wipe your feet when you do it. And it's free and helps. Yes, it does. Also sharing it does help too. So, the animal shelters are filling up because people can't afford to take care of them, such as buy food. Yes, this is happening more and more. So the old lady that I knew back in Gainesville, she works with rescue dogs. She's a big animal rights activist. She loves her dog. And she was telling me that this is really starting to get out of hand. And what do you expect? For Sam, I don't buy her the premium food anymore, mostly because I feed her scraps. And I know that by giving her scraps, she's gonna get the different vitamins and nutrients that she needs that she's not getting from the dog food. And, I usually feed her so much in the scraps that she just gets breakfast, but she doesn't get dinner because she eats throughout the day. Because she eats like 7 times a day. It's fucking crazy. So, all right, where's everyone? Okay, from Indiana. Oh, yes, Indiana. Yes, that's where you're from. I know All American Preppers from Florida. Jeremy is in Washington. You're in Kentucky. What part of Kentucky, Jeremy? Are you the same Jeremy that I met along the river? I'm just wondering if you're that same Jeremy. So I've got lots of family down in the Tampa area. Yeah, okay, so dogs are man's best friend. Yes, I agree. For some men, they are their best friend. I don't know, my experience with Sam has been so negative, not necessarily because of Sam, but because of the constant interference with Sam every time I try and do something with her. 10 years ago, people would have expected me to do what I do. But now it's like there's no such thing as disciplining your animal. And so it makes it really, really hard to have a dog being out here. I mean, one thing is just like, okay, I spoil her rotten, but on the other hand, everybody else wants to come in there and treat me like I'm mistreating my dog when they don't realize, like, I mean, she has her own sleeping bag. How many dogs sleeping outside have their own sleeping bag? Because I was worried about how cold she would get on a 35-degree night. Okay, so I bought her a doggy sleeping bag. How many owners would go buy their dog a doggy sleeping bag? Okay, the other things that I do for her, such as when she's scared, I hold her, and all those other things. People don't get to see that. All they get to see is when Sam acts out, because that's kind of when a mini explosion's going on between her and me, because she's spazzing out and I'm just like, my head's exploding and I'm like, what the hell, so but yeah, so many people miss all the good times that I have with Sam. That's another reason why I created the channel that I have with her. So if you're not subscribed to Adventures of Sam the Dog, you can find it on my channel page. There's a link to it. But come on over there if you want to see the good times that Sam and I have and the good things that her and I do. Because I mean, I may end up doing duplicate stuff and stuff like that, I guess, because we have certain routines that we do. But if you want to see like how Sam's taken care of and stuff like that, you want to see more in depth, being over there on that channel will give you the peace of mind of knowing, that Sam is cared for and all this other stuff. Okay, so hey, what's up, Rundown? Okay, it's living nightmare being locked up. Yeah, I couldn't do it. So anyone remember Daffy Duck as Friar Tuck? No, I do not. But I'm more like a Yosemite Sam. So, yeah, fucking 6-gun shooting, taking me off the ground. Yeah, that's me. So, okay, I wish I could send you my Mickey D's points. I never use them and have like 70,000. Yeah, that would be cool if you could. I don't know how, but yeah, it would be cool if you could. Hey, Jeremy, if you don't mind me asking, because I haven't checked into it, what's the card, the Burger King card? Is it like got $5 or $10 on it? Just so I know, out of curiosity, if you do know. So we have a Burger King here in KC, but not Checkers that I'm aware of. Yeah, Checkers is more like a southeastern thing, and then Southwest is Rallies. So okay, so we also have a Whataburger. Oh yes, Whataburger is good, but it's really expensive, and they don't have their app sucks. Checkers in the same is the same. Yes, it is. Okay, I think that we have a Rallies. Okay, always heard Whataburger. It's good burger. Don't get me wrong. It is a good burger. Okay, and they don't put ketchup on it. They don't put mayonnaise on it. They only put mustard on it. So if you're used to having mayonnaise and ketchup and all that stuff on it, you might want to have it on there. But it's going to kind of ruin the burger because it's its own unique flavor with that mustard. But they do good burgers. But you gotta like mustard. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Free coffee. Yes, I love free coffee. Miss Taco Time from the West Coast. You know, I was raised on Taco Bell. Um, my mom said Taco Time tasted like crap. I tasted Taco Time. I thought it tasted like crap. I'm a Taco Bell fan because I was raised on Taco Bell and I was told that there was nothing better than Taco Bell. And I believed it so much that even my taste buds tell me that there's nothing better than Taco Bell. So, yeah, I remember everything was Taco Bell. Yeah, okay, so my go fast food. Okay. Oh, really? So, spicy potato soft taco. No, I like my favorite is the what is it? The chalupas. The fried bread. Oh man, that's my favorite. Chalupa Supreme. Oh yeah. So that and let's see. My mom and I, we used to get the Mexican pizzas and the pinto beans and cheese. So our refried beans and cheese. So. Yeah, yeah. Everybody wants to. We got all kinds of food things going. Yeah. So I was born in. Okay, so you were born in L.A., raised in Tucson, St. Louis. Ooh, you went to Albuquerque. Okay, well, Kansas City is. I don't know. I've been through Kansas City. That's the place where Eisenhower's from. So, and he is the father of the freeway. So that's why they have everything is built like. You want to talk about the widest freeways in the country? I think that Kansas City has them because of Eisenhower's. Like everywhere else gets to have 4 lanes, we get 10. So, but I usually just say I'm from Arizona. Okay. My left hand is my best friend. Okay. Just kidding. Yeah, your wife is, yeah, I will keep my mouth shut on that one, Jeremy. So does she listen along with you? So, bro, I swear we have met before, but I'm not sure where. Maybe Hope Center in Lexington. No, I've never been to. I've never been to Lexington other than going through it on a Greyhound, and that was just recently. So, oh, nice. Okay, so hey Cherokee, nice to see you. Hey Bushcraft, nice to see you. Okay, my kids acted up in the store. My wife would leave the car or buggy right there, and we packed the kids in the van, and my wife would say, okay, find a dark alley where no one can see us. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of the way it has to be now. I remember if I did something like that, I'd walk out with a fat lip and a black eye. I mean, that was the era I grew up in. You never told your mom no, and if you did, you got your butt whooped. And if you cried about it, nobody would come to the rescue. They'd be like, "You got what you deserve, kid. Don't tell your mom no. Listen to your mom." Nowadays it's like, "Oh, you don't have to listen to your mom. That's not okay." So, I'm fasting today, but man, that sounds good. Why are you Mormon or something? So, my kids would panic, but they straightened out once they saw wife was on board. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm proud of you for that one. You deserve a pat on the back. I forage for most of my food. Yes, and you have a very unique situation. I have so much stuff I need to do and not enough time to do it. That's really what sucks. And I don't know how to create more time other than to just start working, I need an office manager or something, somebody to say, okay, go here, do this, and this, and I'll complete it versus me. I kind of like take my time as I do things, and so therefore it takes me a lot longer. But man, yeah, I need to learn some of this stuff. I miss old enchiladas. Okay, I know a gay man they call Taco Bell because he will tear you. That is funny. Do you guys watch? Oh God, what's his name? He's a redhead. He's like Trucks for Life or something like that. Yeah, he did a skit with his friend. He's like, he's like, yeah, here's me and my BBC, my best black comrade or something like that. So that fits right in there with that. But anyways, so she's sitting right next to you. All right. Well, you know what? Tell your wife I said she needs to give you a tramp stamp on each cheek. So there. I got married at 40. She was 25. Oh my God. And how long did that last? Because the age difference, I mean, unless you got the mentality of a 25-year-old, being 40 with a 25-year-old, it's just, you might as well just be raising a teenager. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I prefer women my age or older. So, but anyway, so yeah, but she was 25. Okay, wow, we have gone quite a ways. You guys have asked a lot of things in chat. I am so glad. I would like to make a call for a couple of things. Yeah, lasted 7 years. That's not bad, 7 years. She got the 7-year itch. Okay, who else on here has a channel? I've been homeless for decades now, but learn new stuff all the time. Bushcraft has a channel that would be beneficial to you. Let's see. I don't think any of the other channels would, but if they would, say something in chat. So, rundown, all you do is get a burrito, add beef, then get extra red on the side and dump on it, and same thing. Okay, yeah. I was immature for my age. Okay, well that makes sense. Yes, there's a guy on YouTube that I really like, and he gives the food recipes. Like the food recipes you're not supposed to get so that you can make your home cooked food. It's something Jordan is his name, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's always good. I send my stepmom some of those because it's like, oh my God, that looks so good. And then he comes out with the recipe for it because it's like, these are supposed to be like, he's got the recipe for like McDonald's stuff, their secret sauce and all that stuff. So it's kind of neat. But anyways, I'm gonna make a big old ask. So you guys know that I've started doing a website, and I would love you to come over and subscribe to to my newsletter, so that I can start building a subscriber base over there. I'm going to start doing a lot more asking for it. Now, I know I have, one of the things I'm going to have to really work on as far as like, how do I manage myself? Because I need to limit myself, just like when I was in BNI. It's for those of you that don't know what BNI is, it's Business Networking International. So it's an international networking group that is for business owners, and you got to pay about $1,000 to get in it and go through like the applications and all that other stuff, okay? And so when you would sit there and you would talk with all the other business owners, you were only able to do one ask. And so what is your ask this week? And so my ask this week is just that you come over and subscribe to my newsletter or to my blog, okay? Because when you go there, there's where you just put your email in and then you hit subscribe. It's going to send you an email to your inbox. Make sure you check your spam filter, okay? And then make sure you move it over into your inbox, because like the first couple of them went to my spam box until I was able to get it to the whitelist to hold on it. But you may have to whitelist it, for those of you that know what whitelisting is, as far as getting it. But then every time I write a blog, you will get an email that has the article in it, and it has the video that goes along with it. So you can still, kind of contribute to my YouTube journey and to my website by, you can watch it in the email, or you can watch it on the, you can watch it on YouTube itself. Either way, but this is, I'm really wanting to move in that direction, as far as getting people over there, so that I can kind of start having conversations with you in writing, being able to kind of give you guys a state of the affairs. So what does this channel look like moving forward? So I want to talk about some of this stuff, because while I have your attention, and I have a large enough group here so that you guys can participate in it where you see fit to participate. But I have been working on the beginner's guide to being homeless. Okay, so being homeless is a huge keyword that's working for me. It's not one of the best keywords, but it is a good keyword. Okay, that is working for me. And now I'm working on the kind of like the advocacy side. And so what I'm going to start working on is next week. As I'm going to start trying to set up interviews with some of these food kitchens, now that I have my mic and I have the ability to do the camera, so on and so forth. I can kind of do a more professional setting with the individual, and go that route, okay? And so I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more content, because it seems like you guys like it with the one that I released today, which is understanding homelessness, how it's an expensive lifestyle, and just kind of like the costs that are incurred in being homeless, and how much more expensive it is being homeless versus being housed, and the types of money that you save from being housed. I mean, why would you get housed if you didn't save money? I mean, it would make no sense. Okay, if it did not offer you some sort of benefit other than shelter from the elements, you would not be willing to pay $1,500 a month for a 600 square foot one bedroom, okay, or a 400 foot studio. Okay, so I'm working on that. I'm going to really work on honing a lot of different things in as far as the message in which I put out. So it seems like I'm starting to get a good response. I'm starting to see my older videos are starting to get views now. And so I'm looking forward to kind of seeing how that goes. And because my goal is to get off the streets by the end of, by Thanksgiving. And in order to do that, that means I need to get somewhere around 100,000 views a month, okay? And so right now I'm sitting at about 20 to 30, depending upon a month. I need to get up to about 50,000 over the next couple of months, which is why I'm working on getting better quality content. So what I'm gonna ask you guys to do to help me out for the next 90 days, okay, because everything works in 90-day circles. What you do for this 90 days pays off in the next 90 days. So I would like you guys, because I saw a big, I got an extra 10,000 views just because you guys are sharing my content on your social media. So if you guys share my content on your social media throughout the month, whenever I pop up a video, I would greatly appreciate it, because again, it's going to put about an extra 10,000 views in my coffers on top of what I'm already getting. And so that's why I'm trying to get up to about 50,000 views. And so if I'm sitting at 30,000 views as like a base, then that means I have a 20,000 view gap that I got to close, which is going to be much easier than a 30,000 or a 40,000 view gap to fill, okay? And so that's kind of, you're going to start seeing a lot better content, a lot better stuff. I would love to hear you guys' feedback in the comments of some of these videos, so that I can understand what it is that you like, what it is that I don't like, that you don't like, if you're losing attention, things like that. Give me your feedback on the video. Be polite about it, please, because I put a lot of hard work into it. I do accept criticism, but sometimes, it's hard to. So I will say that as a caveat. But anyways, that's kind of what's going on over the next, 30 to 90 days, what's going to be happening over the next few weeks, is that, and if you guys have noticed, things have started changing on the channel. The quality of the content is getting better. And now that I can start transferring things onto a computer and doing it on a computer, it's going to be much, much easier for me to do my editing and do it right. Okay, and be able to, because there's a video, if you watch a video that I released, I even put it in the comment section. It's in the, it's like 5 ways to be a digital nomad or something like that. You'll see the thumbnail is a guy sitting on a beach. Okay, it's the only one that I ever did like that. If you go watch that, that's the type of videos that I want to start creating in the future, because I think that is a good quality video. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And tell me what you think about it, as far as like, was it a good video for you? Okay, so I forget what the actual title is, because I keep changing the titles, but it is in the beginner's guide to being homeless. All right, so let's get back into questions. Okay. Okay, 99 on YouTube, fascist book. Okay. When we're done, I'll find you and join. Okay, perfect, Jeremy. Chat is where the cool kids are. Yes, I'm trying to convince myself I'm cool. But you are cool, Jeremy. You've always been cool. You are the coolest kid on the block. So I ditched my house for van life. Long story. Yes, yeah, you've been talking about that. Living in a shed has worked for 7 years now. So I mean, But yet you would still, both of you guys are still considered part of the homeless community, even though you probably don't count yourself as homeless. But, you know, and this is why they will never get an accurate toll of homelessness. I think that the true number for homelessness post-pandemic, we're sitting around 5 to 7 million. Of people that are homeless in various ways, okay? Because I'm starting to see people, you know, coming off trails that are like, yeah, I've been on it for a couple of years. A lot of these people, even the lady I met, she started the van life because of the pandemic, and she lost her job, and so she just started living in a car and, you know, getting things going, okay? So there are those things that go on. So, all right, living in a shed. Okay, All-American Prepper, some of those sheds make a great tiny house. Yeah, actually they do, I've seen some. All-American Prepper, I wish I could do that. Rent here has gotten insane. Well, you know, you could probably buy a 50-acre lot and probably put 10,000 tiny homes there. But, you know, then you'd have to figure out gardening. Okay, it's called Water Lily. Okay, go fund me something for a water turbine generator. They are only like $300. Then you can charge your phone down at any river or creek. I've heard of those. I may have to look into something like that. So it's often about personality, and you seem to have a good personality, working under stress, not giving up, setting an example for others. I cannot pronounce your name, but I will tell you I do not work well under stress. That is my Achilles heel. That is what causes most of my problems. Because when I get stressed out, it causes my adrenaline to increase. And the more my adrenaline increases, the more likely I'm going to black out. And I don't want to black out. So do you recommend those? I'm 10 feet from running water. Okay, yeah. Topic idea, maybe you've covered it already. States or cities trying to make van life and homelessness illegal. I actually have covered it. I think I even covered it in the Florida's criminalization of homeless when they did the camps. I did a video specifically for that. Because they're now forcing everybody. The way that the legislation is written is that what happens is, okay, so you're in Gainesville. Well, there's 500 homeless and there's 200 beds. Well, that means that there's a 300 person gap. So now the city is required to do a camp, to be able to house those 300 people in a tent city somewhere. Okay, and now the cities have to frantically, because of this legislation, find places, and so it's going to displace other people. It's going to do other things. It may be chaotic. There may not be a smooth transition for it. I haven't seen all of the details. Okay, but if the city isn't going to hold it, the state or the county may come in there and intervene on the city's behalf, especially if it's a small city with a large homeless population, because of how homelessness is expanding rapidly as our economy falls apart. Okay, so yeah, I do talk about that from time to time. I'm looking forward to, and those of you that keep an eye on it, if you get the news before I do, please share it in the comments. Next month we're still in April. Yeah, we're still in April. So not next month, but the month after, in June, they're going to give us a decision on what they just argued the other day, as far as overturning the Martin v. Boise. Okay, so okay, topic. But yeah, I'll probably cover it again. One thing I'm noticing is that I need to go back and cycle through some of these topics that were really good topics. But I have a hard time talking about the same thing over and over again. I don't really like repeating myself. That's why I do the videos. But I'm realizing that in this niche, in this genre, in order to be able to keep myself going, I may have to do that on some of the more famous ones, just give an updated, more augmented, more a fresh view of the same topic. So yeah, I may end up covering it again as time goes along. Just keep watching the videos; it will show up. I count myself as homeless. Okay, I always consider myself one paycheck from homeless. You're more like 2 or 3 paychecks from homeless, because you've still got your final check coming on top of your last check. So, you know, that's something to consider. I'm the only kid on the block. It's saying you're the smartest kid at the Special Olympics. Well, hey, at least you're not the birth control poster child, Jeremy. So, Yoshi, okay, I'll search for some of your other videos. Okay, yeah, just go through. I've been working on revamping. That's part of the reason why I haven't been doing a lot of videos over the last month, is because I've been really working on rewriting everything beforehand, because I want to be able to have that as a baseline for views. I'm hoping to get another 10,000 views a month from revamping a lot of this stuff. And so, hold on, what was I? Okay, but yeah, just go through. Start at some of my original videos, some of my first videos. You will love those videos. You won't see any from like October. If you want to see some old videos, go over to my Rumble channel. That has everything, because I deleted a lot of videos on YouTube, but it doesn't delete it on Rumble. So Rumble has some of my videos that I even deleted, where I talked about other subjects. They didn't seem like they were popular, or I was trying to reposition myself, and I went to a different I went a different direction than that content, and I didn't want it to interfere or confuse the algorithm. But you should definitely check it out over on Rumble. Now that is in sequential order, so you'll want to go to the bottom and just kind of work your way up. See some of my first videos. It's pretty awesome. So I get seizures when I get stressed out after 20 years. Still can't find out the cause. So on paper, it's unspecified. Have they? There's a new one that comes out. It's called a temporal lobe seizure. Now, that's something to think about. So, I mean, like your future prognostication of making homelessness illegal, because I think it's going to not work out. More and more people are becoming homeless, and there's not enough jails and prisons. Okay, hold on one second. I need to go get me some water. I'll be right back. I'm going to answer that. Oh, my God. Okay, so to answer that, as far as a future prognostication, and I have actually talked about this in passing on some of my other videos, so I will talk about it again in passing, okay? And this is the future of homelessness, okay? Homelessness, the way that the system is designed to create either mental health issues or a drug addiction, just the way that the system chews you up, okay? So as you see mass homelessness start going, because we're probably gonna start seeing it in the next couple of months, because we start having more banks that are imploding. We had some stuff go wrong with the stock market. You have to watch Economic Ninja and Johnny Bravo to get my understanding of the economy, okay? But I expect there to be a larger than normal exodus out onto the streets. And so therefore, what you're gonna see is you're gonna see homelessness explode. You could see as many as like 120 million Americans homeless with this. That's about a 30% homeless rate. That includes women, men, children, and everything in between, and all the 5 million genders that we have, okay? Not a single person is gonna be immune from this. And so we will have about half of the country that can afford to live and the other half that cannot. And what will end up happening is, because in order to maintain these high rents and these high values, that means they have to make sure to keep property value high. And part of how you do that is you reduce the crime rate. The first thing you do to reduce the crime rate, especially if they overturn something like the Ninth Circuit Court decision in Boise v. Martin, now these cities could start sending us to camps outside of town, forcing us into camps. And eventually it may end up like what we saw in the German internment camps, because either that, or we will be forced into, or conscripted into service as the United States, fights a war on two fronts. And so it will be a lot like, what's that movie where they pull the guys out of prison, the Dirty Dozen or something like that. You've got something, you've got opportunities for something like that. So what is my future prognostication? Homelessness, if depending upon this decision in June, It's going to determine in large part the near future for the homeless man. Now, even if they don't overturn it, there's going to be other laws like what Florida is doing, which is doing an end around the whole homeless issue and the Eighth Amendment argument by saying, okay, fine, since we can't provide you, the whole reason why they cannot ticket you for sleeping on the streets is because if they have more homeless than they have shelter beds, then they cannot legally ticket you. It's considered cruel and unusual punishment to ticket somebody for something that they have no control over. Okay, but the thing is, what Florida's doing to do an end around that is creating these camps. So even if they keep if they reaffirm the Ninth Circuit Court decision, if the rest of the country and the rest of the states decide to follow Florida's lead, which they most likely will, we will probably see over the next couple of years some Supreme Court battles. But the thing is precedents will be set. People will already be used to it by the time it actually makes it up to the Supreme Court to make a decision. Now, there may be some push and some pull from one side to another, but when it comes to homelessness, to be homeless, you are going to be the enemy, and that's the way it's going to be. And regardless of who you are, now you may be able to escape some of this stuff by not having a drug addiction, by not having mental health issues, by operating outside the system, by being homeless but still being productive, living a lifestyle like I do. I have a higher likelihood of not getting picked up because I spend my time in the library working, doing work, stuff like that. I go, once it comes to like businesses closing, I go find a place, I lay down, so on and so forth. I'm barely noticed that I'm there, and there's other places that I can go that I can hide, that I don't need to worry about, getting caught. Okay, so because I can work and I can do all these other things. Now, what does that mean for a lot of these other services, like the Mary Magdalene House where I get my showers, or for Daily Bread, for St. Anthony Center, for all these church groups that offer free food? What's going to happen to them? I think it will probably be a vacuum, and either they will go to these camps and that will be a central place, and you'll see something that will turn out a lot like what Gainesville has, where you just have a compound, like an old jail, an old county jail turned into a compound that has partly shelter, but mostly services. So you got your medical, your dental, your pharmacy, you got your dog stuff, you got everything you need right then and there, including food lines. And then therefore, like with Gainesville, they actually have different groups within the city that come in and volunteer and bring their own food and provide the meal sometimes, or they just come in to serve the meal, which is what happens the majority of the time. But sometimes they do bring their own food, and I think that that's probably what you'll see from the homeless industrial complex and how it will change. So a lot of these groups will be pushed out of the way. Very few groups, like the large groups, let's say like the Homeless Coalition, or the Red Cross, or Salvation Army, or the Brotherhood of St. Francis, those guys will be able to survive because they're large organizations. Okay, but these small mom and pops, like the guy we met in Pensacola that's been doing it for a while as part of his street ministry, he will most likely be put out and not be able to do it what he does, because those avenues may be closed, because now all of a sudden, instead of bringing it to a place and then dispersing it out to the homeless population that lives within the city, they just put it right there at the camp, and therefore it becomes nothing more than a prison camp over time. It could either be perceived or actual. It doesn't matter, okay? But you're gonna see this happen for the homeless population. This is what we're looking at getting here in the future. So I hope that answers your question as far as what I think, as far as the dystopian future. I have been warned about this months ago, like right around Thanksgiving. So this is something that I've been aware that's coming, and I'm gonna prepare for it the best I can. Okay, so that is the thing about YouTube. People ask questions that you have already done videos about. I deal with that all the time. You know what though? It's okay, because now it gives you an opportunity to form a bond with that viewer and remake the video, but maybe mention them in it, and now all of a sudden you're creating that bond, and you're creating a super fan that's going to follow you and things like that. And really, when being a content creator, this is how we form our relationships. Just like in business, you need to form a relationship with your client. The better your relationship is with your client, not only the more money they spend with you, but the more loyal customer they are, because they know, like, trust you, they know what they're getting, and they're satisfied with the product and what you offer. So when subscribers ask for things, I almost always acquiesce, but sometimes I'll be like, no, I'm not really. I've talked about it. I will talk about it in the future, but I'm probably not going to make a designed video for it. But it's still enough to be able to acknowledge your viewer, because again, you guys are my clients. You guys are the ones that I'm seeking to satisfy, to produce the content that you guys find entertaining and interesting enough to be able to show up to where I have a peak of 33 users in here all at once. Okay, so I mean that's amazing. Okay, so I don't appreciate criminalizing homelessness, but I see what's coming. Here's the thing. We could talk about fixing homelessness. We could talk about throwing money at it, but you can't really fix homelessness unless you fix what's going on up here. I'm not talking about the homeless. The homeless are already broken. We know they're broken. We know they need to get fixed, okay? But it's the houses that are broken, that break us even further, that put us to a point where we're irreparable. Okay, that is the problem within society, is that we lack the ability to have dignity and compassion for our fellow man. You are me, I am you, we are one. Okay, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and the homeless are society's weakest links. So what does it say about society when you treat your weakest link the way that you do? Okay, and that's just again my personal opinion, but I really think that it boils down to how we treat each other, because how we treat each other will change how we interact with each other, which will change how we help each other. And then we will have opportunities for a positive reaction within the community versus just trying to stop the bleeding, which is really where we're at. So, okay, Rumble, gotcha. Okay, okay, are you same brother? I hope, okay. No, you're not being paranoid. You should act as if it's real, because if you watch the Pensacola Chamber of Commerce, their meeting, you can listen to the frustration and the undertone of the speaker saying, because of the decision of the Ninth Supreme Court or Ninth Circuit Court, it has tied a lot of these cities. It has tied their hands down. And so because of that, they're looking for a way to get around it and get over it, because they want to get rid of the homeless problem, because it brings down value, increases crime rate, and they need the value to keep going up so that they can keep collecting taxes, so that they can keep expanding, because it's not self-sufficient if they don't expand. And Not Just Bikes does a really good video on this. If a city doesn't expand, if it doesn't have new construction, it dies. It takes all the money and fees from the infrastructure that you build, but it doesn't maintain the infrastructure. It just keeps taking the monies and fees and blowing it on other things instead of maintaining what it is that they need to maintain, because they've got all this and that and the other going on. So, but it is what it is. All right. Teacher's gone. Okay, that was quick. Okay. Hydration check. I'm sipping on some water with a splash of apple cider. Ew. I can't do vinegar. I don't like vinegar at all. Okay, he's back. Okay. Am I Amish? No, I wish. I probably have. Okay. They assume you have drug or head troubles. Rings true to me. Yeah, I mean, they're always going to look at the homeless and go, oh, well, you've got. Well, you know what? That may have been something in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, but since the dot-com bust, since the '08 crash, and then now we're going through another crash, you realize how closely these crashes are to each other. We haven't had a chance to recover from one before we get hit by another. I mean, the crash of '08 started in '06, okay? and the dot-com bust started in like 98, 99. Okay, so we went 5 years of rebuilding and then boom, right back on our face. And then we go away, maybe another decade of rebuilding, boom, right back on our face again. I mean, we haven't had 20 years to be able to get out and to be able to go and stretch our legs as an economy because we're constantly going down. So, I mean, you're gonna see more and more people that come out not because of drug use, but because the world's falling apart. I mean, it's the easiest way to put it. Rent costs too high. Remember during the 2016 election, the guy running on the Democrat side was running in the rent is too damn high party. I wonder how many votes he would get right now. You know, he's still running. He's running as an independent, I think. I saw him on one of the ballots when I was looking at some political stuff. So, is that... our mission. I like that. Okay, the working poor. Yeah, well, it's always been this way. We think that it's been different. It was different for a short period of time, but it's always been this way. There's always been a wealth gap because the wealthy want to own and control everything because it's for their own safety and security, their own self-preservation to maintain the power, the ill-gotten power, a lot of ways, because they're in order to be able to move up to be able to have the wealth and power that these people have, you have to be a dishonest human being within the content of your character in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so it's always been like this. Okay, I see likely force conscription to Ukraine. No, we're not going to be conscripted to Ukraine. We're going to be conscripted to defend the United States. Russia's going to kick our butt all over town, and if we decide to do a two-front war with Israel and Iran, I mean, and right now Biden's trying to stop everything because it's escalating so far, and it's going to mess up his election, the 2024 election. Right now, they're doing everything they can to keep the narrative going that everything's great until the election, and then it's going to fall apart. And there was an interesting prophecy that was made in the 80s by they called her the blind prophet or the blind psychic. And one of the things that she said is that we would have a black man as a president, and he would end up being the last president. And honestly, I think that prediction did come true because nobody thought that Trump was a legitimate president. Nobody thinks that Biden's a legitimate president. And if Biden wins again, nobody's going to believe that. If Trump wins, people are gonna wonder what's going on there, and nobody's going to believe that because you're going to have half the country that says not my president. But what happens if RFK wins? Now, RFK, now that's a guy I like. That guy right there hones what I think. If you really want to save America and you really want to take us back to the ways of old that were working, that were not as crazy as what we see, that will still allow us to progress and evolve as a society, but still bring us back, RFK's your guy. The thing that I like about him is he wants to pull all of our military out of foreign military bases, bring them all home. Okay, that's step one. That's the most important thing that we can do, and it's okay that we're no longer the world's superpower because if we did something like that, the world would respect us, and we probably wouldn't have to pay half the consequences that we're gonna pay if we elect somebody like Trump or Biden. Because if we elect somebody like them, we're gonna be at war, and then the rest of the world is gonna spank us because we didn't learn our lesson. We didn't get the message that we were meddling too much in other people's business, and the voters at home would rather go to war than do the right thing. And that's essentially what this election is going to boil down to for me, in my opinion, is that either you want to fix the problem and you're going to vote for RFK, or you don't want to fix the problem and you're going to vote for the status quo, because you need to vote for a winner, not this other guy who has no chance of winning. Okay, and that's why they lose to begin with, is because everybody says, oh, well, he has no chance of winning. Well, because you said that, yeah, now he doesn't have a chance of winning because you're ensuring it by not allowing him to have your vote, even though he would have had your vote if you thought he had a chance of winning. Okay, so just think about the logic in that. Okay, Las Vegas, it's illegal to be homeless, get caught 3 times, and it's a felony. Yeah, it's the same thing like that is in Chattanooga and now Kentucky. It's 90 days in jail right now in Kentucky. So, but the thing is they can't really enforce that. So a lot of these laws are on the books, but they can't necessarily enforce those laws. A lot of the reason why they can't enforce those laws is because of the Supreme Court battle that's going on right now. Precedence has already been set that the cities will lose if they get sued for criminalizing homelessness if they don't have adequate shelters, okay? So all these laws, they're passing them, but they're waiting for this court case to be overturned. In a lot of ways, overturning this court case is about as impactful as overturning Roe v. Wade or overturning Obamacare and the individual mandate, okay, which essentially took the teeth out of the Affordable Health Care Act, okay? So, you know, if you do something like that in this court case, then those laws will be enforced and put into effect. But right now, they're on the books waiting for something to change. And hopefully, and maybe it might change in 10 years or 20 years or 2 years or next year or next month, okay? But they have the laws that are there on the book so that as soon as they get the opportunity, they can step in and start doing it. They're just waiting, and they're trying to figure out, it's kind of like where you say you throw a bunch of crap up against the wall, see what sticks. Same concept, okay? And they're doing that they did that with Obamacare. They had to mount multiple different arguments until they found one that worked. And they're gonna do the same thing with this Boise v. Martin, okay? So, I'm only 18 months away from Social Security. Until then, I'm working full time. Yeah, but are you down? Question is how long is your Social Security gonna be there? We got a global economic collapse. That's gonna lead to civil unrest. How long does the United States government stay intact? How can the United States government stay intact if it can't pay its officials, its henchmen, you know, the police and the military to go and enforce its rule, okay? So again, 18 months, a lot could change, and you know, maybe another 18 months after that, your check's gone. So be prepared and plan for that to go away, because if there is a collapse of the government, of the US government, all government benefits, all retirement checks, all of that stuff goes away. So my old man, he doesn't get his Army retirement anymore. He doesn't get his Social Security. My stepmom wouldn't get her retirement from the county or retirement from Social Security. You know, but you gotta look at it like that. That all that stuff might go. If you're getting anything that's dependent upon government or your pension is in the stock market, you should expect to lose it right now. You would be better off pulling everything out right now, sitting on it, let it be a perceived loss, and go out there and buy up assets, pennies on the dollar, and change your lifestyle. So let's just say you have $200,000 in the stock market, sell it all, put it off to the side. When houses start dropping down to $60,000, go buy yourself 4 or 5 of those things, fix them up. Now all of a sudden you've got a rental market, okay? So, and now all of a sudden you've got 5 houses, and then the value may increase over time or whatever, okay? Just based upon our current system. So there's no point, if you're smart, you're gonna get off of the, you're gonna get out of the market, and you're gonna get out of it as quick as possible. You might as well sell your house at its peak and be homeless until the housing market bottoms out, and then go buy yourself a house. You know, again, another opportunity to be homeless where it benefits you. You know, it's not a negative thing. You just wait for the housing market. It'll be 6 more months. That's fine. You know, I can live in my car that long. So, PMC Wagner became a full functioning army of jail people. Okay. Not sure what that means. You may have to explain that a little bit, or put a link in there. It's crazy that we're the last free people in the land of freedom. Yeah, I could see that, Jeremy. Okay. I have PTSD and cannot live like most people. I must live isolated and have protection dogs, or I cannot function. I know the feeling, All American Prepper. I mean, I'm not where you're at, but I have my own issues. And yeah, but the thing is there's so many of us, we live on top of each other, and everybody owns everything, so there's no free roaming property where you can just go out in the woods and just like pitch a tent and stay there for a while and get your head straight, you know, work your way out of it. So yes, thank you, Friar Tuck. That certainly answered my questions. Okay, housing is most Western world is just wrecked, but I think especially in the USA, yes, white companies can buy hundreds of homes as investments. You know that Toyota that, and I haven't seen you in a while. That actually is one of my biggest things that I'm kind of talking about, and which is if you take in the ability to invest in the real estate market away, not only will it drop prices, but it'll make it affordable so that everybody can afford a house. Okay, because people aren't trying to make a profit. The second people start trying to make a profit, that means I buy it from you for $1, sell it for $2, that guy sells it for $3, the next guy sells it for $4, the next guy sells it for $5. The same thing keeps getting sold and goes up in perceived value because everybody's got to make profit on it. That's why they invest in it. Well, you take that mechanism away, and now all of a sudden it's 60,000, 60,000, you know, and you're going to pay about the same for a house, and now it becomes about neighborhood, neighbors, community government, things like that. And then it gives you a lot more freedom to move around and to find a community which you fit into and that you can stay in. And you're not going to be constantly buying and selling houses, because a lot of the reason why people do it is to increase their asset wealth. Okay. Yeah, my house gained in value, so I went and bought another house that's now gaining in value, that went and bought another house which gaining in value. Well, it's you're buying it to live in as an investment. And you know, whereas the people that sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna buy this house, I'm gonna pay it off in 30 years, I'm never gonna buy another house, I want to fix this house up, those are the people that are doing it right. The reason why our money supply keeps expanding is because we keep taking loans. The longer we take loans, the more our money supply expands, because once you sign it, therefore the credits are created. Okay, it's called a negotiable instrument. Okay, and that's how credits are created within the system. And you know, it's just and until you take the investment and the loaning process away from being able to own a house, a lot of things we're gonna constantly have this housing crisis to begin with. Okay. So that's just my opinion on that, Toyota. Okay, I'm a veteran, son of a veteran, gonna be critical of my own country. Yeah, you should. You know, my old man, he retired 20 years Army, so increase the building seems, value increases of buildings seems to have a lot to do with it. Well, it has to do with the money supply. You know, that's the reason why gold goes up. An ounce of gold to buy the same thing now as it would have bought 100 years ago, okay? And so, you know, with that being said, you know, it goes up in perceived value because you're not taking into account that value went up because the money supply is being diluted, and the more it gets diluted, the more dollars chase after the same product, which therefore gives you a perceived view of increased wealth, but it's not. It's really basically, you know, saving, you know, what is it? The retaining value within it. But you're still not really retaining that much value, because if crime goes up in a neighborhood, all of a sudden your value goes down, and now you have external factors that are playing into that. Okay, so, but that's just, yeah, value increases because the money supply is increasing, and then they tell you you're making a profit and you should be happy, while they're slowly enslaving you and stealing everything that you have. So eating apples is the best way to clean your teeth. Yes, it is. Also, you can use little branches too. Friar in Swedish means freeing. Oh, did not know that. Thanks, Dennis. Okay, yep, 2008 crash did me in big time. Never recovered though. I tried my. Yeah, some of us, dude, it destroyed me. Like, I survived it, but yeah, after that I was done. Okay, so recovered, okay. Do you believe in the Bible? No, I do not believe in the Bible. I'm not a Christian. Essentially, the way I can say my spiritual understanding is, if you want to understand your creator, because there has to be intelligent design, this just didn't appear. There's an answer to it, and we're waiting for that answer, okay? And you know, if you want to understand your creator, look around you, look at everything is there. See how it balances, see how it operates off laws of causation and you know, things like that. You'll get to understand your creator much better than any religion, any book, any person can do. And it's a personal relationship, you know, a personal understanding, because it's a personal journey. As much as we like to think that we're part of like this big old group and that we need to be part of a group, There are some things, especially when it comes to your own development, where that's why they call it personal development, because it is personal. It is something that you do on your own. And as your spirit evolves over the ages, it is personally developing, and it's only something that it can do, with maybe a minimal assistance just for scenarios from the group. Okay, so. Okay, I like RFK. Yeah, I love him too. I think I've actually subscribed to his channel. He does a lot of good infomercials. He's really doing the social media thing, which I think is very smart. I watched one of your lives not too long ago, man. I'm glad you got yourself a job. Well, YouTube is my job. It has been my job for a year, for getting close to 2 years now. Keep going, man. You're awesome. Thank you. That's awesome. The cops here don't mess with us at all, thankfully. Well, they're not messing with anybody right now. They're afraid, and two, with all of the Ninth Circuit Court was very disruptive to the criminal industrial complex, to the legal realm. Okay, because it prevented them from coming after us for anything and everything. And homeless are filling up the jails for what? For living, for existing, for being human. And you're criminalizing a natural function of life. And so the cops have gone from the one extreme of let's just take everybody into the other extreme to leave everybody alone. And that is actually proven to be almost as bad, if not worse, than taking everybody to jail. So it's like, what do you want us to do? Take everybody to jail and it'll be okay? Or do you want us not to take anybody to jail and it won't be okay? Instead of doing something that's responsible and kind of center of the road. Some you got to take to jail, but most of them you don't. And until we find that happy balance, it's going to be that way. So, yes, shelters can be horrible. Sometimes they're good. It depends. If you really want to know if you're going into a good shelter, go talk to the staff. See what they're like about enforcing rules. Now they'll tell you, oh yeah, we enforce the rules, but do they really? And then also you got to see, like, are they doing this whole liberal tolerance crap, or are they doing a realistic tolerance of like, look, you're stupid, get out of here, type thing. Okay. So, and that will tell you whether or not it's a good shelter and it will fit for you. Also, you might want to see what the requirements are of the shelter, because some of these shelters, like the lady I was talking to in van life, I said, the main reason why I don't do shelters is because they slow you down. You won't be able to get up off the streets and on your feet because of all the hoops you got to drop in. She's like, yeah, I got more done in 2 days than I got done in 2 months staying in that shelter because of all the requirements that they had for me. Okay, so there's things that are there. So sorry to hear that. Okay. U.S. federal government can always pay its bills if its bills are in its own currency. Yeah, but the thing is it's paying the bills internationally, the exchange rate, and that is something that the United States does not have control over anymore with BRICS. That's why we're losing, that's why things are falling apart the way they are, is because we no longer have control. So shelters suck, too much like county jail. Yes, too many bodies in a small space and you get sick. Yeah, it's called the crud. So I've been homeless, nomad survivalist for the past 6 years, biking cross country. I wouldn't have it any other way. Hey, real quick before I forget, if you guys want to leave me a tip down in the tip jar, you find value in any of this or anything else like that, they're down in the description. You can find a tip. You can leave a tip down in the tip jar. Okay, that currency could become worthless. That's the real threat. Well, all currency is worthless. Barter worked because, to me, your tomato was as valuable to me as my banana is to you. Okay, so therefore we're able to barter. Now all of a sudden we want to be able to have more latitude in bartering, so what do? We create an exchange medium. We call it currency, we call it money. And because everybody accepts the value of that money, therefore we allow it to be money. It doesn't matter if it's fiction, it doesn't matter if it's gold and silver, it doesn't really matter, because I'm willing to take these in exchange for that. So therefore, we are doing an enhanced form of bartering, because I'm taking something that I can go and get whatever I want with. So if I have $5, I can go buy me a burger, or I can go buy me a taco, or I can go leave it at the strip club if I want. Whatever I want to do. Okay, I have the latitude. Versus the apple and the tomato and the banana. Well, I have to eat that tomato, or I have to eat that tomato, and you have to eat that banana, otherwise it's no value. So now all of a sudden it allows you to be able to conduct a lot of commerce and do a lot of trade, because we now have a socially accepted exchange medium. You should look into, because the first ever real currency collapse happened, I believe, in the 11 or 1200s in China with seashells. Okay, you should really look into the history of that. And it will help you understand that money is nothing more than an agreed upon exchange medium, so that we can have latitude in what it is that we do. So complaining about whether or not we're using gold or fiat, or whether what we really need to be worried about is how much are we printing, not whether or not it is gold or backed by gold or anything else like that. It's about being responsible in the amount that we print, so that there's not too many dollars chasing after too few goods. So therefore it leads to inflation. Therefore it leads to all these negative consequences. Okay, so but that's just when it comes to money. All it is a socially agreed upon, accepted exchange medium. Okay, so quit complaining about the details and use it like it's supposed to, and just have an understanding of it, and instead of worrying about what it is that you're using. You're using what I'm willing to accept $1, because I know I can take that dollar, I can go down to the store and I can buy a Coke. So why would I complain about, oh, well, this money isn't backed by anything. What do I care? I can go down and I can buy a Coke with it. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm gonna have to end this here in a few minutes, because I'm starting to go over my time here. So, and Sam is starting to get antsy too. So I'm gonna answer probably about 5 or 6 more questions, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start ending the thing. But I'm so glad that you guys are here, like having a good conversation with me. You guys got me on a lot of different subjects. If you guys keep doing this is what the live streams will be like. Okay. So you hit 5K soon, but talk about Florida survival. Florida survival. I don't know. What do you want to know about Florida? So how long do you think we have until complete collapse? End of this year. I want to quit my job and travel Europe. You should have already done that. Okay, so yes, they had a guy here built his own shack out of the woods. I lived 6 years, found it. Yeah, I've heard that story. I'm in Florida City. Okay, Friar Tuck is GPD. Oh, Gainesville. Yeah, right. Okay, from Robin Hood. Yes. Okay, I don't want to be that guy, but I would not spend any money for travel in these bad times. Also, Europe is amazingly historically and cradle for the West. Yes, but there's 2 major things that are coming on. We have a comet that is heading there. It'll hit in either 2027 or 2032. And that is, according to Meyer, if I remember what I read correctly, it'll most likely hit in 2032. It's going to hit in the English Channel, and it's going to flood Europe. And plus, Europe is going to be on fire. You don't want to be in Europe. I would rather be in America than be in Europe, even though Europe is a lot kinder to people like me. So, but that's just my understanding. She's here. Let me see if I can turn it around. Where is she? There she is. There's Sam. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So I did that for a decade. Good times. And honestly, if you're gonna travel, ride freight train. Have fun. Do it the right way. You'll end up in all kinds of places, learn all kinds of different things. For some reason, every time Sam the dog is mentioned, I get Lord of the Rings and flashback. Okay. I just want to do Camino Santiago, but times are okay. No, I'm not getting. Look, I am not, I'm not like an uber dog person. Yes, I love dogs. I was raised with dogs. My old man, golden retrievers. I like dogs. I'm not one of those people that looks at dog, get that dog away from me. I like dogs. I appreciate dogs. I understand their role. Okay, but at the same time, I've never really intended or anticipated owning a dog as an adult. I like other people's dogs. I love playing with other people's dogs, but I never really anticipated having one of my own for various reasons, mostly because of stability. Okay, but when it comes to me and Sam, we had a rocky start at the beginning. I will say that because she was learning me, I was learning her. I have developed a lot of patience because she is a stubborn mule. Okay, like literally, sometimes I just want to, a brick and brain cells, and you get the rest. But the thing is I've had to learn to be tolerable and all this other stuff. I'm attached to her to a point to where I thought about it this morning when she started biting on me. I was mad. I took her harness off. I took the leash off. I took her collar off, and I said, if you want to go, then go. If you don't want to be here, if you're either that afraid of me or if you really have that much of an issue with me, go. I'm not stopping you. Okay, but at the same time, it also hurts because I like the animal. I am attached to her. We have a bond. We have history, and because I've become more tolerant with her and things like that, she has become more tolerant with me, and we're learning how to get along with each other. It's a long, hard road, and Sam is teaching me an important lesson, not only in just a relationship with a dog, but relationships with humans. Because I didn't get a good example growing up. So having to have patience and care for the things that you care about, Sam is teaching me that lesson. So am I ever going to get rid of her? No. Will I talk about it? Oh yes. Will I? No. See, sometimes when you're mad, you blow hot air, and I get mad, especially when it comes to Sam. And the only reason why I'm getting mad is because I care. Because if I didn't care, I wouldn't get mad. I'd laugh. I'd be like, oh, dumb dog. But I care about the dog, and I don't want her to have a negative effect on me or a negative effect on her life. But again, I'm frustrated with her. Her and I have our bouts. I mean, she and I have gone toe to toe. She comes at me, I go at her. We're just like, two humans going at it. But instead it's me, it's a man and his dog, and she throws her fits and comes after me, and then sometimes I throw my fits and I come after her, and this is our relationship that we have, our bond, and this is how we're learning to get along with each other, because she's a stray dog. She wants to go wander and do everything that she wants to do, not realizing that she can't do that. Okay, and so teaching her those things versus me having to learn patience and tolerance, as I've been teaching her things for like 5 freaking months. She should get it by now. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so will I get rid of Sam? No, never gonna get rid of Sam. As much as I may talk about it, there may be moments, even though her and I have our butt heads, and even though like I there's certain things I know I will never be able to trust her on, and certain things I need her to do that I know she'll never be able to do, because I care about her. I'm not willing to let that get in the way of keeping her. And so yeah, I'm always gonna keep her, but again, I'm gonna get frustrated, and you guys just need to understand that. Okay, so okay, last night served. Okay, one of the movers served time. Oh wow. How is the Boise shelter? Yeah, I've never been to the Boise shelter, so Sam's on the floor sleeping. Yeah. Okay, so you guys got to see Sam, and if you really want to see Sam, go over to Adventures of Sam the Dog. Watch your channel. That's where you guys, because even my old man bitches at me, I haven't seen enough videos. You need to do more videos, because he wants me to put Sam in every one of these videos plus a video, because he wants to see Sam all the time. Okay, so no tip in tip jar where the F is Sam. You guys, okay, he still got Sam. She's close. Yes, okay. Leave my banana out of this. He's That's funny. Okay. All the core is about trust and bartering. Yes, that's essentially what it is. So I want to see Sam before I donate. Okay, well, City Boy, you got to see Sam. So I expect to see $5. So apples, bananas, tomatoes, holy moly, now I want some fruit. Well, I don't know, in summer camp, I like bananas, coconuts, and grapes. Now put that in a dirty mind, as a kid. So you would be proud of me. I've embraced sexuality to improve my standing in life. And that's funny. So Joe here, yes, okay. Figure the older women with money. You know what? I actually met a guy when I worked at the airport. He was dating a woman for her money, and she was dating him because she had money and she wanted a boy toy. And so it does happen. And he was ugly. I mean, I don't see what that, but she was like 400 pounds too. So she just kind of went for low hanging fruit, a guy that would accept her. Beef. Okay. Okay. Take care, everyone. Okay. Okay, City, you quit asking where my dog is. I've already showed it. So, and if you want to see Sam again, you got to go over and see her on her channel. That's what I made it for. This channel is to talk about this topic. Okay, let's see. Bye, Sam. I was gonna give you $50 for Sam. Okay, whatever. Interesting. She's still alive. I've been all over the world. I promise you stay in America. Okay. I'd love to see other countries. Okay. Sometimes you don't want find dog finds you. Yes, that's essentially the situation, because I was bitching the day before, I was bitching at the universe how I never got a break, and then all of a sudden I get Sam, and now all of a sudden I got breaks coming. And a lot of it has to do with her. People see her and they want to help me, and it's like, I don't like it, but I deal with it. So, because I don't want the reason why people are helping me is because of my dog. I want the reason why people are helping me is because they see a potential and they see something worth working with. My dog is just an extension of me. She is not there to be monetized. I don't like it when people do it that way, but they do. Okay, one thing, only drunk Joe could fall down and wake up under two different neighbors. Oh, dude, that's a problem most of us would like to have. So some people just have... Okay, new record for time on live stream. Yeah, actually, no, I went almost 2 hours one time. Okay, I'm the king of dirty minds. Yes, Joe, you are. Where did you get your name from? Okay, I got my name from a couple of kids. So when you're homeless, or wherever you go, because you're gonna get trail names, you're gonna get your hobo name, you're gonna get your street name. It's all one and the same, okay? But you don't come up and go, yes, I'm Friar Tuck. It doesn't work that way, okay? When you first come out and you're homeless, people know you by your real name, okay? And then as time goes along, you start to embody a personality. For example, Silver Spoon. The reason why I call him Silver Spoon is because, he lived out here like he had a silver spoon in his mouth, and he would complain, oh, it was too dry. Oh, that parched my, he would say some of the craziest things. It's like, dude, you act like you're a millionaire out here and you're expecting 5-star service. What's wrong with you? So I ended up nicknaming him Silver Spoon, and that's how he got the name, and that name stuck. Okay, because now all of a sudden you start going around, people, you say, hey, this is Silver Spoon. Hey, by the way, I nicknamed him as Silver Spoon. So now everybody else, because it's part of the community, it's kind of like, saying, hey, my son, he just popped his cherry, but instead it's, here's your name. Okay, and then the rest of the community is informed, and then that's the name that you go by, and you want to go by that name because it gives you anonymity. Okay, you want to be able to keep your privacy, because maybe one day you decide to get off the streets and you want to leave that life behind. Well, that life is tied to a personality or a persona, which is an alias, and so therefore you can take that skin off and go back to your normal life and be back, in a house and be back on your feet, so on and so forth. Okay, so street names are important for that reason. Okay, so people help me because it makes them feel better about themselves. Yes. You get issued a handle. Yeah, watch a movie called Ironweed. Okay. I love movie tips. Okay. There is no true atheism. If you help someone, it makes you feel good for doing something. I agree that there's no true atheism, but I think that a lot of people do it so that they can sleep better at night. Because they walk by, they see somebody, they feel bad, and on one hand, it's like I think they're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're worried about, oh well, I won't be able to sleep tonight because I know that there's somebody outside sleeping, well, no. It should be more along the lines of, look, I see somebody that's down. Let's see if we can figure out a way to help him and get back on his feet. Doesn't mean he needs money. Doesn't mean he needs anything. It means he may need a cheerleader. He may need access to resources. He may need connections to people. It does not mean money. But if you really want to help people, you got to really go out there and help them. People that like throw money and stuff like that when you're out there flying a sign. Until I started doing funny signs, like if you're doing like, oh, poor me, I'm homeless, broke, homeless, hungry, all that other stuff. Yeah, people are just doing it because they feel sorry for you. But when you do a funny sign, you feel better about it because you know that people are giving you money for entertainment. Okay, so but people want to help people, but people would rather have you give them something for value in exchange. And for some, they're okay with just peace of mind knowing that they gave a person $1 and that might help them out. For others, it's being more proactive. Okay, so I'm about $2 is in asking Carol to come give me. Oh Jesus. So well, you know what? You might want to put that up on your OnlyFans page. So definitely. All right, guys, so we've been doing this for about an hour and a half. I want to say thank you. If you want to leave me a tip in my tip jar, it'd be much appreciated. It's down in the description. Come on over to the website. Make sure you sign up for the subscription. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. You just get my newsletter, all that stuff. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next live stream.